Before that we started. But I forgot to give you a title for what last week's class was. Now I need you to write this down because I want you to keep a note of the titles because God is taking us into another dimension. You remember I told you about God said there's hidden anointings that are about to be released? I was in Texas. I woke up yesterday morning and turned and put my earplugs in my phone and turned on a message by T.D. Jakes from 1997. And he was preaching, and then all of a sudden he just stopped and said, God said, I'm about to release hidden anointing.
What? Wow.
You're about to see some things happen in your life that you had no idea that you were anointed to do.
Jesus.
You're going to be saying, oh my God, I know I'm not called to this. How are you going to tell God what you're not called to?
I'm
sorry. How you going to tell God what you're not called to? He said, I knew you before you were formed in the belly. God knows what he called you to do. A couple of weeks ago when we had a banquet, I brought a word that said, God said, shift. That means that even in the title that you're walking in now, there's going to come a point in time in your walk with God that he's going to shift your anointing. He's going to shift it because God, see, that's why I told you I have to teach this, I have to preach this sermon called God's Toolbox. I have to teach it because each one of us are a tool in his toolbox. The other Saturday when Mother Mitchell couldn't even hardly walk, and the Lord said to me, blow on her knee. He said, I don't want you to touch her, just blow. I blew 3 times. I said, Lord, ain't nothing happening. He said, did I tell you to stop? Blow. About the 9th time, she just started screaming out, ah! The Lord said, walk, and just started running all over the place.
Yeah, sure did. Sure did, amen. I remember that.
Yeah. That's why when she walked in here, I said, well, I see she's still healed.
I'm still here.
Yeah. You're going to be surprised at what God is about to manifest in your life.
But the funny thing is, after the second blow, I didn't even know anything else.
That's right.
I didn't know the rest of them.
Because God is showing us. He said, in the last days, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh.
Yeah.
This is the dispensation of when God is about to fill up the church behind miracles, signs, and wonders. But the only churches that are going to be able to participate in this move of God is the churches that allow God to move freely.
Come on now, I believe that.
If you're in a church where there are restraints on God, you're not going to see mighty moves of God.
I believe that.
You're not going to see them because it's my program, not God's.
Right.
That's right.
God needs to be somewhere where he has freedom, where he has liberty. Now, he can come in and force things. But God would rather come in and just be at liberty to do what he wants to do. And in saying that, the topic for last week's lesson was this: the warfare of the title. We were talking about the spiritual warfare that comes along with the titles.
Wow. Yeah.
But I forgot to give you the topic. The topic was the warfare of the title. Because like I told you, when you receive a title, the first thing God wants to see is what kind of character do you have. But along with him checking your character, he wants to see how do you handle the authority of influence. You see what I'm saying? Because listen, God used you to give a word and it comes to pass. Bam! Now he's looking at your character. Are you going to stay humble or are you going to get high-minded? Now then he's looking at your influence because he's saying, now that everybody is running up saying, oh, God truly used you. Now is to see how are you going to use the influence of what God has given you.
Oh my God, that's where pride is.
That's right. Yeah. Because if you use the influence in the wrong way, you'll cause division, You'll cause legalized murders in the church. You will kill people because of the influence that you have.
And if it's definitely the wrong type.
That's right. Because when the influence overwhelms you, you start thinking it's all about you.
All about you.
Mm-hmm. God only used you one time.
One good time.
But now you're thinking it's all about you. What you think about what the pastor said? I don't agree with what he said. And you a leader in the church. You're supposed to have the same vision that the pastor has. It's not supposed to be no division, division. It's not supposed to be like that.
That's right.
Listen, when you signed on for the job, you said, I promise to abide by the rules and the regulations of this job, which means the scripture says that we shall honor them who have rule and authority over us. But people don't realize this. When you become an officer in the church, that's when the real warfare begins.
You better say that.
Because now God is testing you and Satan is testing you. But remember, God said, I will not tempt you with evil, but Satan will. Satan is the reason why people can't handle influence, because with the influence, they get to thinking that I can tell people stuff and they got to listen to what I say.
Right.
That's the thing, is that the I and the me.
That's right, because the one thing that the devil knows is this. Knowledge is a dangerous thing. It's dangerous. When you start getting knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and your character and your heart is not right, that knowledge is going to start to turn to a knowledge of evil and deception. You be sitting at home thinking, how are you going to destroy folk? How are you going to lead people down the wrong path? There have been people that have been in leadership positions in church, and Satan has been sitting back in their house with patience, just waiting. Waiting for the right moment to jump on them. And usually the time when he jumps on them is the time when the pastor is out of town.
Uh-oh.
Hear me what I'm telling you. He'll jump on them and have them doing stuff. How many times have you seen pastors come back and some minister that got up and took half the church and gone? I've seen it happen.
I've never seen that.
I've seen it happen twice. Matter of fact, it happened to Apostle Bradley. He came back off of his tour. When he got back, his head minister had took over half the church and gone and started another church.
Wow.
This is why when God gives you a title, he has to take you through certain nooks and crannies in your life to make sure that you're ready to handle what he's given you.
Amen.
Exactly right. He's putting you through the fire, because once I release you to do what I've called you to do, I know I can trust you. I know I can trust you. Yeah. God has to know that he can trust you to the point where he can send you somewhere by yourself and you're going to handle yourself accordingly.
Amen.
The warfare of the title. That was last week. Now this week, the topic is, y'all excuse me a minute, my thing done went out. All right. This week's topic is the warfare of waiting for God to move upon a prayer request. Waiting for him to answer your prayer. Yeah, that's warfare in there. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Pastor, I was talking to you on the phone. That's how the Holy Spirit was really dealing with me, because God is about to release, the promises that we've been praying for years.
That's right.
And had gone up as a memorial before him. And so God, when he said in the book of Genesis, let there be. And there was. That is a proclamation. What God declared, not only God is here, but the enemy also hears it as well. He also hears that proclamation. So that's where the test comes forth.
All right.
Amen.
That's where it comes forth. Now remember, hold your questions. till after the class is over. Because if I let you start asking questions in the middle of the class, we'll end up somewhere else. Not where we're supposed to be at. No, that's all right. I know what you're saying. Because we ain't really started yet. I just gave you the title. Okay? That wasn't a question. That was a comment. All right. Listen. Where I want to begin from is the last verse in the first chapter of Nehemiah. The last verse. Because when you pray a thing, we think God should answer right away.
Well.
And then we get upset when he hasn't answered in a week. And when we get upset, we start voicing our opinion. And when we start voicing our opinion, we have to remember that Satan is the prince and the power of the air. He takes what we say and uses it against us. God will have already told you he's going to do something. And because he has not done it in the time that you think he should have done it, you start complaining. Or you start saying, God, why haven't you done this? I've done this, I've done that, I paid my tithe, I give them all, I've done all I should do, and you still haven't moved. Now Satan knows that you're frustrated. Whole time, God he has already intended to answer your prayer, but in his time. Matter of fact, he told Daniel, he said, when you prayed the first time, I heard you. But because of the spiritual warfare from me coming to you, I was held up for 21 days. Yeah, you have to realize, when you pray to God for something that's a godly desire, God wants you to have that thing. Amen. But it's the warfare that you have to go through to get the answer. Read that first verse, honey. The last verse in chapter 1.
Is everyone
chapter 1.
Chapter 1. It's verse 11. It's
Nehemiah.
Nehemiah 1 and 11.
Okay.
And can you say amen when you have it?
Amen.
Amen. Let's see. Nehemiah 1, verse 11, which is the last verse of that chapter.
It's in the Old Testament.
Right after Ezra. Nehemiah.
Yeah, just before Esther.
All right, we there? Nehemiah. Esther, Job.
Yeah. All right.
Got it. I got it.
You got it. Good. Amen. Amen.
All right. All right. So, O Lord, I beseech thee, let now thine ear be attentive to the prayer of thy servant, and to the prayer of thy servants, who desire to fear thy name, and prosper, I pray thee, thy servant this day, and grant him mercy in the sight of this man, for I was the king's cupbearer.
Now listen, you didn't even hear what just happened. You didn't even hear what just happened. He figured because of his title, God's supposed to answer me now. Because I was the king's cupbearer. I'm praying an elegant prayer. This is the way God has given me. He putting a twist on it. Because he wants you to understand the reason why he's taking us through the things that he's taking us through. See, because I figured by now we'd be out of this building. Been 4 years, going on 5 years. I figured by now we done been in here, we done seen rats run across the floor, all kinds of stuff. And God, the power of God is about to knock the walls down. We've been praying, God, please move us. And we still here. There is warfare that we have to experience before we can go to the next place. There are folk that still have to come before we can leave here. There are situations and circumstances that have to take place. So when we move to the next destination, we'll know who God is. But it won't happen without the warfare. It won't happen without the warfare because you have to have a personal relationship with God. It's one thing to come together and be able to pray and get in touch with God, but it's a different thing when you're in a situation all by yourself. And this is the situation he was in, all by himself. For I was the king's cupbearer. I hold a prestigious position in the kingdom. Because of my position, you should hear me. I put my words together right. I've said the right thing, so you should answer me now. But one thing that this doesn't tell you is this. There was more than one cupbearer. They worked in shifts. Each cupbearer filled a shift of 3 to 4 months. So that means when Nehemiah prayed this prayer, he was the cupbearer on duty. Now he figuring, you got to answer this prayer now before I go off duty. Because I don't know what's going to happen by the time it comes back around to me again. I don't know how many cupbearers there were. But I do know this. He had to wait for that answer. And when you're waiting for God to answer a prayer, y'all hear me now. When you're waiting for God to answer a prayer, you will go through mind wars like you've never experienced in your life. She told you about the plane tickets. Now listen to me. My wife told me, she said, the Lord told me to call the trail and for us to pray that he bring the plane tickets down. I said, okay. Latrell called her and said, I was at 5 o'clock prayer this morning. The Lord told me to get with you and Pastor, and we pray so we could bring the plane tickets down. We came together and prayed. But the Lord did not move until 2 days before the time to leave. Why? Because the Lord had to get us to realize you have to know my voice. Let me tell you something. One thing we have to understand about God is this. It's very seldom that he speaks to you audibly. Every now and then. But when God speaks to you, he speaks to your heart. Luke 6 says, out of the heart, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Whenever God deals with you, he deals with your heart. One thing you have to understand, how do I know it's God talking to me, dealing with me? And how many times have I told you? Because Satan is never going to tell you anything to help anybody, especially yourself. And anything God says lines up with his word. That's true. Wow. So the first thing the Lord wants us to understand is don't think because you have a title, I am dedicated to answer you every time you pray. Wow. Because, see, when you pray, you already got it in your mind how you want him to work it out. Wow. Well, God, if you do it like this will be just fine. Wow. But God, but this little teeny weeny mind I have, God has a million ways of working that thing out. Now, let me tell you how God worked the ticket thing out. He worked, see, a lot of times, Mother, God will answer your prayer, but you have to get involved in the answer. Thank you, Jesus. She said that she called, the people called it, we got tickets for 331 round trip, everything included. But the plane lands in Dallas. Yeah. You got to be in Lubbock. Yeah. So that means we had to fly to Dallas, rent a car, and drive to Lubbock. That was 5 hours away. Wow. But a lot of people would say that ain't not God. God is not going to answer a prayer like that. That ain't not God. God don't do stuff like that halfway through something. No, he did his half. Now you have to do yours. You have to get in the car and drive to Lubbock. Oh, let me tell you, the drive to Lubbock, it was, oh my God. By the time I got to Lubbock, I was like this. You talking about dark? We was on a stretch of road that was like 100, no street lights nowhere.
Oh, it's dark.
In the country, it's dark.
Gross dark.
We rode like 100 and something miles like that in the dark. And I'm like, God, are you sure this is you? God said, I answered the prayer. I put the tickets in your budget. I gave you the money to get the ticket. You get to rent the car. Now get the car and drive. Do you not know a lot of people would have passed that blessing up because I ain't driving no 5 hours. You never know how God is going to answer your prayer. Amen. But you have to understand, warfare is coming along with the answer. What you mean warfare, Pastor? The warfare was, I got to ride all the way to Lubbock in the dark on roads I ain't never been on before in my life. You see these signs that say, watch out for deers crossing the road. All that kind of stuff. Armadillos dead all on the side of the road. All kinds of stuff. We were seeing all kinds. I'm like, Lord, please get us to this place. But dead deer laying on the side of the road. I'm like, wow, God. And this is the answer prayer. The Lord said, yeah, I'm getting you there, Lord. Listen, the warfare that comes along with the answer prayer. We had to sit on the runway for 2 hours. I'm thinking about getting upset now, Lord. You done gave us a way to get tickets. Now we got to sit here? But then it came to me, you don't know what he's keeping you from.
Amen.
It's all a part of the warfare. Yeah.
Jesus.
We have to understand, a lot of times God will bless us and when he will provide the whole blessing. But sometimes he gonna make you participate in the blessing.
All right.
Yeah. She said faith without works is dead. That's why I said, oh, she confirming them at the top tonight. God will put you in a situation where you can't just sit back and enjoy the ride. You got to participate.
Right.
Amen.
Wow.
Amen.
This is what happened with Nehemiah. God supplied the blessing, but he had to participate. I know he would have much rather to have God say, well, I tell you what, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. You just stay right here, be the cupbearer. No, you have to go through all these forests and go into this place, and you have to be a part of this blessing. This is what God is doing with this church.
Amen. Wow.
I'm bringing the blessing. Matter of fact, I've already spoken it and put it in place. But you're going to have to participate. You got to participate. You got to be doing the things that I need you to do while the blessing is manifesting itself. That way, when we get to the next place, we'll be like the 2 disciples that were on the road to the Emmaus. Did not our hearts burn? You're going to be surprised at the hidden anointing that God releases and the miracles that he performs through you and the blessings that he just brings forth because you're participating in the blessing.
Wow.
All right.
Jesus. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You got something to say here? Yeah? Oh, you good right now? Because, listen, don't think that because you're an evangelist or a pastor or a minister or a mother or a missionary or a prophet or an apostle that God is supposed to answer your prayer when you first ask. He said, I have no, what's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't show partiality to people. I have no respect of person. That's what it is. No favoritism. Because God wants us to understand one thing. I am a prayer answering God.
Yes, sir.
But it's up to me when I answer the prayer. Matter of fact, when you pray the prayer, he already answered it. It's just got to manifest. The manifestation is what takes a while.
Right.
To get to you.
Yeah. Can you imagine laying in the bed saying, oh my God, I prayed that you would let me live. And here I am 2 years later, still alive. But look at all I had to go through. 2 back surgeries. All kind, you see what I'm saying? All kind of stuff I had to go through. Pain that I just couldn't. But I'm still here. That's why I just let Ava just go ahead and just testify. Because I know what she's been through. I know what God has brought her out of. I know what the enemy was trying to do to her. Because of the calling that is on her life. Shh. But the prayers that we pray, we don't know the trials, the tribulation, and the warfare that they release on our life. Count it all joy when you go through diverse temptations. And Peter said, think it not strange when these fiery trials come upon you, as though with some strange thing that's not supposed to happen to you. At least now they're not beheading us. Well, so far, sawing us in half, boiling us in oil, all kind of stuff. But what's going on? They're taking our jobs, all that kind of stuff like that. And it's still the same warfare.
Amen.
We're talking about the warfare upon waiting on God to answer prayer.
Right.
The scripture says this: when you ask for a thing, ask for it like it has already happened.
Wow.
You got to pray in a way that God sees that you believe what you're asking for.
Yeah.
When we first started looking for the ticket and they came together to pray, I'm sitting there like this. My wife said, when they got the tickets, she said, why you ain't excited? I said, because I knew God was going to do it. She said, how did you know? I said, listen, anytime Jesus established a thing, he said, verily, verily. She said, the Lord said, pray, and I'm going to give you the tickets. Then her sister called and said, the Lord said that 2 times.
Yeah.
You already know that the manifestation is already set in place. You just got to be willing to go through the warfare to get what God has for you.
Amen.
So you have to stop looking at the warfare as it's an enemy and take it on as a friend. You better hear me right now. Embrace the warfare. When you know you're living all you know how to live, and you know the word, and you're praying with the word, embrace the warfare. Because the only reason why the warfare is coming is because Satan wants to see if he can put doubt in your mind.
Right.
Hallelujah. Glory. Hallelujah, God.
If he can get you to doubt God just a little bit,
Jesus.
He can avert the blessing.
Right.
The script, we always had a sign up there. I believe God. Circumstances don't matter. Expect your miracle. When we landed in Texas, I said, God, you just real. Yeah. But now we got to drive for 5 hours. Look. Listening to a GPS and we don't know where we are. One point on the journey, we was in Texas where we were supposed to be, and the GPS had us going around in circles like this.
Oh, you too?
Make a left turn.
Yeah.
Make a left turn. We did that like 5 times, so we're like, wait a minute.
Right.
And look, the place we were trying to get to was right there. You see what I'm saying? The warfare will have you think, oh part right there.
Oh, wow. This is real. Okay.
I'm talking about we just going around in a circle like this.
Wow.
But it's because of the prayers that we pray.
Yes.
Now God is not going to word your mouth how to pray. He just said, ask me and believe. Now you got to believe. You have to believe.
Mm-hmm.
If God is able to answer the prayer, then that means Satan is able to cause confusion.
Yes.
And God allows him to, because God wants to see who are you going to believe, him or me.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who are you going to believe, him or me?
Mm.
And God already knows where your heart is. She said, that small seed, she said, even if you plant it on top of the ground, it's going to grow if you water it. But God wants you to see how deep your faith goes in him.
Hallelujah.
Mm-hmm. Because you never know how much you really believe God until you get in a situation. You ever been in one of those situations where your back is just against the wall?
Yes, sir.
And you talking about that, you said something several times, and many thinking the same thing. Like in my situation, if I hadn't been covered, my faith wouldn't have gone nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
The little that I had,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because you guys were covering me
Mm-hmm.
and praying for me. You didn't even know how you or why.
Mm-hmm.
But I always would thank God for the ones that are, for the people that were praying for me at that very hour.
Yeah.
That
Right.
I was up praying.
That's right.
Praying for me.
Because you have to understand, folk don't believe this. But a family that prays together
Stays together.
That's right.
Mhm. Yeah. One thing Satan doesn't want the saints of God to do is to pray together.
Right.
He don't want us to cover one another.
Right.
He wants us to leave each other out there by ourselves. So he can just do all kinds of stuff to us, bring mind wars that be about to just run you crazy in the middle of the night.
Run you daddy.
And God is standing there saying, now, last week I did this for you. Now this week you're going crazy. And this ain't even as bad as what last week was. But he's trying to get us to a point in him where we would just trust him without
Right.
even thinking about it. It's like little children. They trust you just because.
Right.
Oh God. Anytime you see a child, like you have your baby in your arm and you go to hand it to another person, and something wrong with that person.
Right.
Because children love people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something is wrong.
That's right.
The warfare of waiting for God to move